Emily here. Thank you so much for joining me for this full-length Pilates mat class on planking. We are going to be moving from a quadruped position to all kinds of different positions for planking, side planking, front planking, a little bit of side bending, quite a bit of side bending. I really enjoy a good side bend. But if you have weak wrists, I have a modification for that. One modification is to make your hand into a fist and work from here so that you're not breaking your wrist. Another modification, if you'd like to stay in your hand, is to make your hand into more of a claw position and put more weight in your fingertips than on the back meaty part of your hand. I also have weights. When you're using the weights, place them down, hold on to your weights. Try not to hold on to the weight so that you're pressing your weight into your hand, breaking your wrist. Try to straighten the wrist so that you get less pressure in the wrist. It's more like working on your knuckles, but with your hand on a weight. Also, if you have knee problems, for the knee work, I do have a knee pad. If you would like that, you can use one. You can also roll up a towel, roll up a Pilates or yoga mat, work with something else under your knees that would be helpful. But this is quite a bit of wrist and knee work today. So I'm going to put these to the side just in case I want them for my wrists during the work as well. We're going to start in a quadruped position. So if this was the case, let me show you real fast. I would place my mat underneath my knees. I would take my weights, place them right under. Again, same thing, no change. I would have my wrists directly under my shoulders, my knees directly under my hips. This is where I would start class. I'll do the first exercise right here. Since I'm already here, I'm gonna press my shins into the mat. We're gonna do cat-cow, but instead of just, oh, doesn't it feel so nice to cat-cow? We're gonna start with a little bit more intention today. So instead of sticking your booty back and leaning back away from your wrists, we're gonna squeeze our glutes, tuck our tail, feel the work trail up through our spine. So our tail's gonna tuck first. We're gonna feel it go low back, mid back, shoulder blades, and then our head's going to drop to look in at our thighs. When we come up, we're going to reverse. Our head's going to come up. The work will travel down our spine, and then we'll release our tail. Do not release your lower abdominals and poo bear out. So hold them up, hold your ribs in, squeeze down on your shoulder blades. Now when we do it this time, we're going to squeeze under our arms. We're going to pull our shoulder blades apart. We're going to take the inside aspect of our elbow and point it towards the end of our mat to pull our shoulder blades down. So squeeze your glutes, tuck your tail, roll through your spine, looking at your legs. And release through your head, roll down your spine, come up through the tail. Again, try not to let your glutes stick way up towards your heels. Squeeze your glutes, roll through the spine, looking at your thighs, come through the head, trail through your spine, lift your tail, lift your head, in cow. Let's do that 3 more times. Glutes first, trail down your spine to your head. Head first, trails down your spine, drip, 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 all the way to your tail. Draw your abdominals up and in, wrap your ribs, as if you have a marble sliding down your spine. Tuck your tail and lift. Head goes last. Now, lift your head, marble will slide down your back as if you're pushing out of your shell like a turtle. So squeeze under the arms, squeeze the glutes. Let's do it one more time. Tuck your tail and lift. And now release your head, roll through your spine, and lift your tail. Now, we're going to come to a neutral position. So, draw your abdominals up and in, wrap your ribs, pull your shoulder blades apart. You want a straight line from the tip top of your head, shooting out through your tail. You want nice wide shoulder blades. You don't want to pop up like this in your quadruped or plank position. This is a plank position on your hands and knees. So, don't sway out your low back. Think of finding a slight little tuck in your tail so that you're finding a neutral spine on your hands and knees. I'm going to move these to the side real fast. The first thing that we're going to do is some arm work. So we're going to challenge our balance. In my personal opinion, The hardest part about plank is maintaining your core in the plank. So what we're doing here is we're gonna leave our knees on the mat. We're gonna work on a warm up by maintaining our core. So I'm going to make my right hand light. I'm not going to pop up on my shoulder to do it. I'm going to keep my shoulders as even as possible, keep equal weight on my hips, rotate the eye of my arm to face forward on my left hand. I'm going to slide my fingertips forward on the mat and squeeze into my arm and pull them back. As I do this, I shouldn't side bend. Just my arm is moving from the shoulder socket. I'm going to inhale it out and exhale it back. Let's do 2 more. Press your shins into the mat. On the 6th one, leave it out at the front. Now, raise your arm up to your ear and lower. You shouldn't be raising your shoulder to the side here. You should only be working from the shoulder socket. Let's just warm it up a little bit. Find a nice breath pattern. Whichever one you like. Now leave your arm up at the top. Now, draw your arm back in so your elbow's coming towards your hip, your palms coming up towards your shoulder. So I flipped my hand. As I press my hand back out, I'm going to flip my palm so it faces the mat. When I draw my elbow back in, reaching for my hip, my palm will flip up, and then I reach out towards the mat. Palm up, into the mat. Belly up and in. Tuck your tail slightly. We have quite a few exercises here, guys, so let's get used to it, right? If you want, go ahead and find your weights, reach it out. Now, as if there's a table, as if your body's laying on a table, you're going to pull your arm wide to the side, your palm's going to come up in line with your shoulder, your elbow's going to be in line with your hip, and you're going to squeeze under your arm and reach back overhead. And squeeze and reach. Good. Here's 4. I'm already feeling this on my standing arm. I'm doing quite the workout underneath the arm. Now reach overhead, 6 small circles in each direction with your arm, coming from the shoulder. 4, 5, 6, and reverse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now bring the arm out to a T, pull it back overhead. Out to a T, back overhead. Here's 3, here's 4, here's 5. On 6, stay out there. Now bending slightly the elbow, thread the needle, look towards that left arm, and come back up, arm to a T. And thread the needle slightly, slight bend. And lift your booty, you'll scoot back a little bit. Don't sit on your heels. This is just a little break for your left arm. I'm a nice teacher. 1 more. Now bring your arm down and replace it. Put the weight in your right hand. Rotate that inner elbow to the end of the mat. Make your left hand light. Now with fingertips on the mat, reach the hand out and pull it back. Find your breath pattern. While we're here, find the neutral spine. Drawing your belly up to your spine. Wrapping your ribs, widening your shoulder blades. Keep that arm out there, raise it up and lower it. Press both shins into the mat. Squeeze in through the glutes. Nice long neck. Leave your hand up now. Pull the hand in, elbow to hip. Flip your palm up towards your shoulder. And as you press it out, flip your hand down to the palm, down to the ground. And pull palm up. And reach palm down. And pull palm up. Palm down. Palm up. Palm down. Palm up. Palm down. Now, as if we're working on a table. Our body's resting on a table. We're going to pull our hand back. Hand to shoulder, elbow to hip, and then reach overhead, and then pull and squeeze under the arm, and reach, and squeeze, and reach. Good. Here's 4, and 5. 1 more. Leave your hand up over your head. 6 small circles coming from the shoulder in each direction. And reverse. Tuck the tail slightly, squeeze the glutes. Now, out to a T, and pull it back overhead. And out to a T, and back over your head. I'm just going to switch back. T, and overhead. Here's T, tuck your tail slightly. Here's 5, and 6. Stay out there. Now, thread the needle. Your left arm will come underneath your right arm between the arm and the knee, and you'll bend down, and you'll come back up. Like I said, your glutes will come back on this slightly. It's just a nice release. Try not to let your shoulders come up to your ears. Don't lose your belly or your rib up. Good. Let's do one more. Now sit back. Give your wrists a nice roll. Now, on this next exercise, you may find it helpful to use your weights here. We won't be using our weights in our hands for any other exercise other than to support the wrists, other than this exercise. So, I'm going to find my weights. I do have 5-pound weights for this exercise. I never use 5-pound weights, but I like how they're bigger for the wrist work. But they'll be fine for this exercise. We're just holding our hands up overhead. So, I'm gonna place my fingers gently behind my knees. Inhale, exhale, tuck my tail. Articulate one vertebra at a time, down to the mat. Good. I'm gonna find a nice neutral spine here. I've taken my quadruped position and I flipped it on my back. So we're gonna find the sinking of the belly to the spine, the wrap of the ribs, the nice wide shoulder blades, and the tiny itty bitty micro tuck of the tail. I'm gonna find my weights. Woof, they're heavy. I'm gonna bring them over my shoulders. I'm gonna press them up over my shoulders. Don't bring them up overhead, that's gonna get in your neck. Bring them right up over your shoulders. Don't press them away from you. Keep a straight arm, but allow yourself to squeeze underneath your shoulders, wrap your ribs, draw your belly to your spine, and find a nice grounded position across your shoulder blades, across the back. You're in neutral spine. Your hands are to the ceiling. Real fast, do a little tricep. Whoop, keeping your hands over your shoulder blades. This is plank position on the back. We're just finding that nice upper body position without the rounding. I'm squeezing my legs together. We're gonna start with marching toe dips, and then we're going to extend out to our working level, all while in this position with our arms. So I'm gonna inhale, exhale, float my right leg up to tabletop, and lower on the inhale, and exhale with my left leg. I don't want to see any shifting across my back while I do this. So I've got to find it. In my body personally, I find a strange squeeze in my glutes when I transfer the weight. I really wrap the ribs, and I can almost feel my super deep obliques, right? Just give you another little squeeze under the arm. Just because the weights are there, don't get lazy about it, right? Good. We're going to 6. So here, 6 is my magic number today. Here's 5. And lift. And inhale to lower and exhale to lift. And left leg will lift. Now, it's easier to find the nice neutral position with our sacrum here. Don't allow your sacrum to dip or hip to shift when you inhale, reach one toe down, and exhale back up. And inhale the left foot down, and exhale back up. Now squeeze under the arms, wrap the ribs, belly button to spine, it stays every time. As you inhale away, pause, exhale, and feel your belly move your leg. Now if you feel a shifting in your low body or an arch in your back as you're doing this exercise, do not touch your toe to the mat. Just go half as far. Really grip in on those abdominals. Really wrap those ribs. Really ground that sacrum and find how to work from there. Now, squeeze under the arm. Inhale, press your legs out in parallel. Rotate them out to Pilates feet. Go back to parallel. Pull back into tabletop. Extend in parallel. Turn out to Pilates feet. Rotate to parallel and pull back to tabletop. And extend and V. And parallel and pull. Think of it as a hamstring curl, so you're really in control here. Don't allow the momentum to move your legs. Press it away with energy. Rotate it out. Back to parallel and hamstring curl, pull it in. Let's do one more. Woo! And come back in. Now, guys, put your feet down real fast so we can get rid of our weights. I'd love to keep the feet up, but I would rock and roll all over if I tried to move with those, so my feet in the air. So, inhale, exhale, legs up to tabletop. Fingertips coming up out of your sternum to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale. We're going to do some curl-ups. On the exhale, we're going to curl it up, reaching for where the end of our mat is. Really widen the shoulder blades across your back. And inhale down and exhale left. and inhale down. Now exhale, lift. Now can you squeeze your glutes here without tucking? Now as you curl up this time, extend your legs out to working level. Now go back to parallel, pull them with the hamstring curl and rest your head, neck, and shoulders. And curl up in parallel, rotate out to Pilates V. Come back to parallel, pull your legs in, and rest. Now on this next one we're gonna skip, we're gonna do hundreds, because it'll be fun, right? Inhale, exhale to curl up, rotate out to Pilates V, widen your shoulder blades across your collarbone, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your inner thigh, and begin pumping. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. While we're here, can you pull just your toes back? This is called a prehensile position, forced arch, demi-point in the air. Your toes are tucked in your plank, your heels are together, your toes are apart in a Pilates plank. This would be it with your legs. Really squeeze it on those glutes, wrap those inner thighs. See if you could really find that. Inhale, and exhale. Final set. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop there. Now, lower your feet, raise your hands. Fingertips will come up to the ceiling, out of your sternum. Legs nice and long. Squeeze your legs together. We're gonna do roll-ups. We're gonna do 2 regular roll-ups, just with our hands coming up and down to the ceiling, coming out of our sternum and 12 thread. The other ones we're gonna do a nice arm circle with for fun. So, inhale. Really begin to articulate out. As soon as your sacrum peels off, exhale, fold over your legs. Acknowledge your knees. I took a class from a teacher who said, and I really enjoyed it, because most of the time we just collapse over our legs, right? But we want to keep that nice barrel shape. Just acknowledge your knees. And inhale to pull it back. And stop with your hands over your sternum. Inhale. Squeeze your legs. Exhale. Round over that barrel to acknowledge your knees. Pull your shoulder blades down your back and come back down. Now, 3 with an arm circle in this direction. And then 3 where we reverse our arm circle. So we're going to bring our arms out to a T. Palms up. As we begin to squeeze our palms, our pinky blade edge into our hips, we're going to exhale. Lift your arms up to your biceps, or biceps up to ears. And then inhale. And then exhale. Fingers up to the ceiling. Inhale. And exhale to round up over your legs. Inhale, round back. And exhale down. Try to find some connection in the back of your legs to really keep your feet grounded. The more work you put in your abdominals, the less your hip flexors and quads will be taken out of the mix, and the less your legs will hop off the mat as you do the work. Try to keep your heels connected the whole time. After this next one, we're going to reverse. And come down. And now inhale, reach your arms forward. Exhale over your legs. Inhale, palms come down to the mat. And then reach your arms up to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale. As you roll back, your arms will come down. And circle down, around, and up. We'll come to a T and come up. Inhale. Inhale to pull back. Our hands down to the mat. And exhale. And left. Good. I'm going to draw my knees into flat on the mat. So my knees are bent. I have tented knees. Inhale, exhale one leg. Inhale, exhale the other leg. Fingertips up to the ceiling. We're going to curl up. Single leg stretch. So my right leg standing here, my left leg's way to extend. Please don't hold on for dear life and lift yourself up higher. If you want to pull your leg in more, that's fine, but make sure you don't lose your curl up. Inhale and then exhale, switch. Inhale and exhale and switch. Now, we want to make sure that our chin is off our chest. We don't want to crunch our chin to our chest. We want a continuous curve from the tip top of our head out through our tail. Good, this is our final one on each side. Now, lift your right leg up. Extend your left leg long. Lie flat on the mat. Platform your arms by your side. We're going to do single leg circles. We're going to inhale our leg across the body first and exhale it back up. Please don't swing your leg. A perfect way to figure this out is to lift your arms up just like they were for the curl-ups. Really grip on that opposite oblique to ground yourself. Let's do one more. Really squeeze the glutes on the grounded leg so that you don't rock and roll. And reverse. Here's 1. And 2. Here's 3. And 4. And 5. And 6. Keep your right leg up. Bring your left leg up to meet it. Inhale, exhale to curl up. Leg scissors, right leg first, and pull, pull, switch. Exhale, exhale, and switch. Hold on anywhere behind your leg. Do not bend your knee. And please do not hold on directly behind your leg. Again, just like the single leg stretch, you should be able to maintain your curl up. So bring your leg towards you and then grab it. And towards you and then grab it. Keep your left leg up. Extend your right leg on the mat. Rest your head, neck, and shoulders. First, circle arms down by the side. Inhale your leg across. Exhale it back up. Hands up to the plank position. And inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Really sink in from hip to hip as if you have a hollow bowl there. Now, this next one, we're going to pause at the top and reverse. Inhale and exhale it back up again. Here's 2. Really ground in through that opposite leg. Squeeze the glute to stretch out the hip flexor on the front. Here's 5. Let's do one more. And here's 6. Draw your knees into your chest. Give them a quick hug. We're going to do some elbow to knee. The same teacher that I took the class from that said to acknowledge your knees when rounding over them in spine stretch or roll up, also gave a nice recommendation that I'd really like for elbow to knee. So before we lift our head, we're going to keep our head on the mat. We're going to interlace our fingers, place our thumbs long down our neck. Lift your elbows up in your periphery. We're going to inhale, exhale to curl up. Now, without moving your legs, rotate towards the right. Instead of curling up deeper, think of maintaining your curl by reaching your back elbow to the mat. Now come through center. And as you rotate towards the left, think of reaching your left elbow to the mat, but don't curl back to get there. So back through center, extend that left leg and rotate to the right. Back through center, extend your right leg, rotate to the left. But really keep it curled the whole time and reach the back elbow down. And find that nice rotation. Let's do one more to each side. Come back through center. Rest your head, neck, and shoulders. Give your knees another nice hug. From here, we're going to hold on gently behind our knees, curl up, and then rock up gently with control. I'm going to separate my feet a little bit wider than my hips. I'd really like to keep them in line with my shoulders for this exercise, to be honest, now that I changed my mind. So, separate your feet the width of your shoulders. Sorry, I changed my mind on that one. Flex your toes back strongly. Pull up on the muscles on the tops of your kneecaps. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Wrap your ribs. Find a neutral spine sitting now. Now, your hands want to come up here. I want them down here and pull those shoulder blades apart. We're going to do spine stretch. So again, guys, just like we were talking about a second ago, just acknowledge your knees. So you're keeping that nice rounded position. There's going to be a reason for this as well, which we'll learn at the end of this exercise before we move into open leg rocker. So, 2 count spine stretch. We're going to inhale, crease at the sternum, curl up, acknowledge your knees, pull back, and exhale up. And inhale, try to get it down, acknowledge our knees, and exhale to pull back up. We have 4 more. On the 6th one, we're going to add on. So here's 3. And 4. Squeeze down on your arms. 1 more and stay there after the inhale. So inhale, acknowledge your knees. Now, take your hands, place them on top of your shins. Pull down by squeezing under your arms and rotating the inner eye of your arm towards your toes. And try to increase the arch just a little bit by pulling up, up, up. Don't round back to do it, but try to pull up, away, and squeeze under the arms. Now release forward and exhale back up. Scoot your feet towards your heels. Bring your toes in the center to pinpoint them together. We're going to hold on to the top of our shins. Even if you are not the most flexible person in the world, if you could reach down and hold your legs in the spine stretch, you might be a little bit more flexible than you think, or you might be able to hold on to the front of your shin. Anywhere above the ankle, below the patella or knee. We're going to inhale. We're going to rock back slightly, tuck our tails. Hover our toes off the mat. Inhale, exhale. Lift your right foot. Try to line your shin up with your shoulders. Now, left foot, raise it up. Try to line that left leg up with your shoulders. Keep breathing. Keep drawing the tips of your ribs towards the top tips of your hips. We're going to add on after this last side, okay? Look, if you have low back problems or back problems at all, or neck problems or osteoporosis or osteopenia, this is where you're going to stop with these stretches. You're not going to move on to rolling leg ball. Now, we're going to extend the right leg in line with our shoulders. Leave it there. Extend your left leg. Balance. Lower your right leg. Lower your left leg. Now, lift your left leg. Leave it there. Lift your right leg. Line it up with the shoulders. Pull down on your shins. Squeeze under your arms. Lower your left leg. Lower your right leg. Now, all we did was lift our spine stretch up to our tail into a balance and extend both legs in line with your shoulders. Pull down, squeezing under your arms, increasing the roundness in your low back, and release down. I'm already tired, right? But we got to do 8 rollings, right? And lift it up. Now, open leg rocker, squeeze down underneath your arms. Inhale back to the tips of your legs. Not today, Emily. And exhale up. There we go. If you don't succeed at first, try again. At your own speed, here's 8. Only to the tips of your blades. Again, if you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, please don't do this exercise. Loud, embarrassing exhale to get up. Here's 7. I have 1 more. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna squeeze my legs together if I'm able to. Lower them with control and grace. I'm gonna flex and point my feet for a second. Release my legs. Inhale, my arms up wide. Exhale, reach out on a hinge, and then fold over my legs for a nice, relaxing stretch. We have some back extension work, and then we're going to do some super fun box work on the mat, and then we're going to be moving on to some kneeling work. So, for the kneeling work, for the kneeling work, if you need a knee pad or weights, then you're going to want to go ahead and get those ready. Otherwise, I'm going to articulate my spine up, just sitting up tall. Flip over onto my tummy. I'm going to make my hands into a pillow, pulling apart my shoulder blades, widen my collarbone across the front. Place my forehead on my hands. So nice and relaxing, right? Squeeze your legs together. Draw your belly up to your spine. Squeeze your glutes to lengthen out across the fronts of your hips and wrap your ribs and squeeze under your arms and pull your shoulders away from your ears. Now, inhale, exhale, float your left foot up and lower. Inhale, exhale, float your right foot up. We're going to keep alternating 2 more times on each side. As you do this, you shouldn't feel any shifting across the front of your body. If you feel any pain in your low back, draw your belly up and in tighter. If you still feel pain, squeeze your legs together all the way. If that doesn't work, please discontinue the exercise. Now inhale, exhale, lift both. And lower. Inhale, exhale, lift. And lower. And lift, stay up. Now just your legs will inhale and swim. Stretch energy out long, moving from the hips.
Still drawing our belly up and in. Still wrapping our ribs. Still squeezing under our arms. Still using our inner thighs. And final set, stop, and lower. Now, don't sit up. Place your forehead on the mat. Separate your hands so you're in the wide W position that we did at the beginning of class where we're squeezing back as if we were on a table. Find that squeeze. Find your palm right under, my thumb's right under my shoulder, honestly. I'm still in that same body position. We're gonna do swan prep, then modified swan dive. Modified swan dive today, think of it more as an arm exercise where we're challenging a tricep push-up in a back extension position. The whole thing's hard, let's just be honest. All right, we're gonna inhale, press through as if we're a turtle coming out of its shell, squeeze underneath our arms. I have more weight in my pinky blade edge, and I come up to a swan, and then I exhale down. We have two more just like this before we add on. Inhale, reach up tall, finding space between each vertebra, wrapping my ribs even tighter. It will take away from my ability to articulate up a little bit more, but it will be very protecting for my low back, right? That's what we're going for here. Let's protect our bodies. Now, inhale, up, stay there. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your inner thighs. And as you bend down, lift your legs. Your head will come down, your legs will come up. And then you'll press up, your head will come up, your legs will come down. And down, legs up, head down. Legs down, head up. Head down, legs up. Head up, legs down. Think of a tricep push-up. Squeeze your elbows to your ribs. I think we have one more. I'm not sure. And now we're going to lower down with control and press back to a child's pose. Whew. I'm going to tie my shirt again because I untied it earlier for the side work, so you don't have to lift your arms up. Reach out long still. We're going to take our left arm, thread the needle underneath the right one between the right arm and the right knee. Try not to just allow your lower abdominals to collapse all over your knees. Try to still draw them up and in. Switch your thread the needle side. Let's go into some modified short box. We're going to do round back, flat back, side bend, and then we're going to do sort of like a modified twist situation. It's going to be super fun. Or I like it. We're going to come back to center. Using our fingers, we're going to walk back so we articulate our spine up to sitting up tall. Tall, 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 tall. And come up to sitting. Now, just swing your legs out in front of you. I'm going to stretch my legs out long. I'm going to shoot energy out of my legs. I'm going to squeeze them together. Using those inner thighs. Now, forward round back. I'm going to take my hands, hook my fingers, make a cinnamon roll, pull it apart. As I pull my cinnamon roll apart, I don't want to go like this. I want to squeeze under my arms, widen my shoulder blades, and widen my collarbones. Don't allow your ribs to flare when you do this. Wrap your ribs, draw your belly up and in. We're going to do round back first. On these exercises, you will not be able to go back as far as you would on the short box, partly because you do not have a foot strap. If you do have a foot strap on your mat, please do not use it for these exercises to challenge your body. We're going to find where our edge really is and work from there. So, punch yourself in the belly button. Draw your belly away from your hands. Now, acknowledge your knees. Just with a crease at the sternum and curl up. Now, inhale. Articulate back. Drawing your sacrum down to the mat. And exhale forward. Don't come out of the roll up. Inhale back. And exhale forward. Don't allow your legs to begin to pop off on the mat. If they do, that means that you've gone too far. And exhale forward. Now flip your hands. Put them in your belly, pull them apart, articulate back, and round up. I'll tell you what, the place where these exercises are the hardest for me are in flat back. My legs, I get so mad I can't go back as far as I want to without the safety strap. One more, but look, we've already worked this position with much more difficulty in a roll up, right? And exhale forward. Now sit up tall, reach your arms up. When you're here, don't let your ribs flare out. Pull your ribs in, draw your abdominals up and in. Pull down on your shoulder blades. Hinge back with a flat back. Ground through your tailbone, lift up through the tip of your head. And exhale, grow taller to come forward. Inhale back. I constantly feel the shake on these. We're going to 6. This is 4. And then we have some side bends. Try to tweeze the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. One more. Now, I'm going to rotate towards you. I'm going to reach to the right side and ground through my left hip so my left hip's not popping up, and use my obliques to sit up forward. Now I'm going to go the opposite way, keeping my bicep on my ears, my arms straight, and exhale forward. Now, from the side, here's what it's going to look like. I'm going to rotate towards the right. It's as if I'm moving between 2 panes of glass. One more to each side, and then we'll go into the twist exercise. Little obliques, right? Now, shake your arms out. That was a lot of overhead, right? Pull up on the muscles at the top of your kneecaps, stretch your legs out long, reach forward. I like to reach forward as if I'm serving, so my palms are up, so I've automatically pulled my shoulders away from my ears, and I'm squeezing underneath my arms. Now, I'm in flat back. Let's add some exercises together. I'm gonna tuck my tail, come to round back. Rotate, reaching for the back of my mat. Come forward, articulate back up to flat back, sitting up tall. Tuck my tail, roll back to round back. Open my other arm, no momentum. Rotating towards the back of my mat. Come forward and up to flat back. Guys, if you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, please do not do this exercise. You can do the round back, but please don't do the twist. Or just open your arm out to a T to challenge your weight, your body, and then come back to the center. No rotation or twist. Back to center, and up. One more to each side. Tuck your tail, articulate back, and open, and close, and lift up tall. Now open, and close, and lift up tall. Good, shake it out. Now we're going to be doing the kneeling exercises. I'm going to show you how I would set up first. We're going to be doing side kneeling kicks, but we're going to come through center and do some center kneeling work in between each side and before. So I would set up like this, so that when I come to the side, I can reach down. If you need to adjust from here, no big deal, right? But the weights are there only for wrist support. So we're going to start with some chest expansion. I will be facing the side of my mat like this. Please stay there. But I'm going to show you from the side first. I'm going to squeeze my glutes. So I'm going to stack my shoulders over my hips over my knees. Palms facing the back, shoulder blades up and down. Squeeze the bottom tips to your shoulder blades. Inhale, exhale to pull back. Look to the right, center. Look left, center, and release. Squeeze my glutes, squeeze back with my triceps. Look left, center, right, center, release. We have 2 more to each side. Again, squeeze your glutes, reach your fingertips away to pull your shoulder blades down away from your ears. I had a teacher who used to say that your shoulders are not earrings. I always think of that. Look left, look right, and release. Stack your shoulders over your hips over your knees. Final set. Look right, wrap your ribs. Don't allow anything to move but your head. So move your cervical spine, and cervical spine, and center. Now release, arms out to a T. We're gonna go down to the right side first. So make your left knee light. Reach down, fingertips will point to the end of the mat. Extend your legs, head behind your head, hand behind your head, hand on the hip. I like the hand on the hip so I can make sure my hip's not shifting. And I lower and I lift up. 1, 2, 3. Wrap your ribs. Belly up and in. Stack your shoulders. No twisting. This is a side bend. Press your shin into the mat. Now leave it up and go forward an inch and pull back to the original position. We're not going back on this one. Abs up and in. Wrap your ribs. 1 more. Stay in center. 10 small circles in each direction. And reverse. Ooh, I fell forward on that one. Make sure your shin stays connected. Pull your shoulder down your back. Now, begin to press up, bend your knee in, float up with control. Good, back to center. Now, we're going to do thigh stretch, which is basically flat back on your knees. So, we're gonna have more support here though. I'm gonna reach my hands forward, just like I did for the starving, right? For the twist, this is where I like it personally. But I'm gonna stack my shoulders over my hips over my knees, and I'm going to flat back, lean back. Don't allow your back to arch or anywhere tucking to happen. It's as if you're in a panini press. You have a straight line from the tip top of your head, out through your knees, and squeeze your glutes to come back up. If you're used to doing this on the reformer, it is harder because you don't have the spring assistance. Inhale, and exhale. We have 6. So if you have a mirror, make sure that you're able to stack it back up again, because a lot of times you want to stop back a little bit. It's easier here. It's not as hard as coming up all the way. Embarrassing exhale up. Oh, my shins popped up. Oh, my shoulders are going back a little bit from my hips. Good. If you feel like you're unable to maintain your balance, make sure that your shoulders are stacked over your hips. We have 2 more. Check it in the mirror. Looking good, guys. 1 more. Good job. We're going to go to the other side for side kneeling kicks. So, arms out to a T. Make that right knee light. Begin to dive down with control. Extend that right leg. Hand behind your head, hand under your hip. Whoop, press that shin down and lower and lift. 10. Try to rotate the eye of your inner elbow to the end of the mat. Wrap your ribs, abdominals up and in. Now, forward and back to the position. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now bend the knee in. Begin to float up with control and balance and grace. Stay right here. Squeeze your glutes. Stack your shoulders over your hips over your knees. Bring your hand down, press it into your outer thigh, and reach for the wall in the ceiling, meet to the right. Straight left arm. Come back up to a T. Reach the right arm straight for the wall in the ceiling, meet. And to a T. And to the right. While this is a side bend, try to think of it as a flowing exercise with the breath. 1 more to each side. Now come back up to a T. Sit back on your heels. A little different exercise for the figure four. Let's warm up our triceps a little bit while we're here. I'm going to extend my left leg. I'm going to take my right leg. I'm going to bring above my left ankle on my thigh bone, above my left knee. I'm going to reach my hands just behind me. So just about 2 to 3 inches further back than my booty. I'm going to bend my knee in. I'm going to press up to sit up tall. If you do not feel this in your hip, maybe you're not sitting up straight enough, or maybe you're not bending your knee enough. So you can walk your heel towards your glutes. Now from here, we're going to bend our elbows, squeezing the bottom tips of our shoulder blades, winding across the collarbone, and straighten your arms. Then bend and straighten. I like the magic number of 6 here. So here's 4. Here's 5, abdominals up and in. I feel a little bit extra juju on my hip when I do this. Now extend my left leg long, untangle my right leg from on top of my left. Now I'm going to take my left leg above my ankle and place it on my right leg, on my thigh, above my knee. So I'm not compromising any joints. Now I'm going to bring my hands behind me. My fingers are going to be about an inch or 2 behind my booty. I'm going to bend my elbow, or I'm going to bend my knee in. Again, maybe if you flex your foot just a little bit on this side, I'll give you a little bit more if you need it. Now bend your elbow, squeeze them on, test your shoulder blades, pull your shoulders away from your ear, wide collarbone, and straighten. And bend. Wrap your ribs, draw your abdominals up and in. This is the least relaxing figure 4 stretch I've ever done. And here's 5. And 1 more, and here's 6. Okay, extend your leg, untangle your legs. Guys, this is where my flows get a little crazy in this class. I don't want to put anyone on their wrists too much at any one time. So I have stuff that I don't necessarily like where I put it, but it all goes together ultimately, and I'm trying to keep people off their wrists a little bit more. So the first thing we're going to do is knee push-ups. Just like we did in the quadruped position at the beginning of class, if you'd like your knee pad and your weights, please go ahead and get them to support your wrists and to support your knees. Otherwise, we're going to come onto our knees, come into a quadruped position. Remember that awesome swan dive modification that we did earlier? We're going to do our arms just like that, squeezing our elbows into our ribs. A tricep push-up is a Pilates push-up. Squeeze underneath your arm to rotate your inner eye of your arm towards the end of the mat. This is all a nice preparation. Now we're going to bend and lift. Try not to squeeze your booty towards the end. Try just to hinge at your hips a little bit to accommodate your arms bending. Your hips will only bend as much as your arms bend. Now, extend your right foot behind you and hover it up. No higher than your booty. We don't want to splay out. We're going to do 3 push-ups from here if you're able. If not, please just do the 2-legged push-up. We're going to bend and straighten. Try to keep your weight even on your body like we were working earlier. And now bring it in. Now extend your left leg and lift. And now bend and straighten and bend. Abs up and in, it's like tucking your tail and lift. Now bring it in and sit back. Roll out your wrists real fast. We're going to do some side bending from our knees. We're going to add on some one-legged side bending if you would like to. Now when we're doing this, I'm going to come to a mermaid position. I'm going to line up my shins with the end of the mat. Before we begin, let's go ahead and do the mermaid. I'm going to bend, reach for where the wall and the ceiling meet. Don't allow your shoulder to come up to your ear. And I'm going to come back up. I'm going to flip my palm on top of my knee and reach the opposite direction. Arm as straight as possible. So I really feel the stretch all the way down to my hip. Arm out to a T. I'm going to place my hand slightly in front of my hip. Squeeze under my arm, bend my elbow into my hip. If I want to do this, right? I want to do this, reaching up long, elongating out of both sides. When you mermaid, it is a side bend, but not just for one side. It's a side bend for both sides. And come back up, and come this way, and come down. Now, think of this as a hip lift. For this hip lift, I'm going to pull my hand. It's going to feel a little awkward at first. My hand's right here for mermaid. I'm going to pull my hand up to line up with my knees. My fingertips are pointing to the end of the mat. I'm going to stack my knees now. I've lined my shin up with the end of my mat. I'm going to place my hand gently on top of my shins. I'm not pulling on it, right? Because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze my glutes and I'm going to find a side plank on my knees. Now, if I was on my knees, it would look a lot like it did for all that knee exercises I did because my shoulders would be over my hips would be over my knees, and then I'm going to hinge at the hips and sit back. And then I'm going to squeeze my glutes to press it forward, drawing my abs up and in, wrapping my ribs, and I'm going to sit back. One more, we're adding on. And I'm gonna squeeze it up. Now while I'm here, I'm gonna lift my leg and extend it out to the side. Lift my hand up to a T. I'm gonna sit back by hinging at the hips and squeeze my glutes to lift. Same body position. Sit back and lift, squeeze under your arm so your shoulder doesn't come up to your ear when you come back. One more. Stack your knee and sit back. Let's swing our legs around. We're gonna do this to the other side. This is a lot of arm work, guys. So if you need the wrist support, please feel free to use them. So we're gonna do mermaid first. So let's stack our knee in a lovely mermaid. Not quite side bending legs, but it's nice still, right? I line my shins up with the end of the mat again, arms out to a T. Place my left hand down by my hip, squeeze underneath my arm, bend my elbow into my hip. Reach my right arm up long over my head. Come back up to a T. Take my right hand, flip it up, palm up, top of my left knee. And reach long to the side. Guys, no twisting or rotating on this. This is just a pure side bend and side bend. Stretch out those obliques. Don't lift your elbow or your shoulder up to your ear. And reach. And up. Good. Let's do one more because I can't remember if that was 2 or 3. Just to be safe, right? And up, good. I'm gonna take my left hand, I'm gonna line it up with my knees. I'm gonna point my fingers down towards the end of the mat. Now my elbow won't really rotate there, but I'm going to rotate it as much as I can, right? To drive my shoulders down my back. I'm gonna stack my knees. So, my body's all lined up. If I need to adjust when I get up, it's perfectly fine. Make your arm easy. We're gonna squeeze our glutes and lift our hips. Again, guys, my wrist should still be under my shoulder. I should have my shoulders stacked over my hips stacked over my knees. I'm squeezing my glutes. I've got to hinge at the hips and sit back. I'm gonna squeeze my glutes to drive my hips forward. And I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna squeeze my glutes, drive my hips forward, float my right knee up, extend it if I'm able to, lift my arm. I'm gonna hinge at the hips, sit back, and squeeze it back up. When you sit back, don't allow your shoulder to come up to your ear. And lift, and let's do one more. And lift. Now bend your knee, stack your knees, sit back. Good. Go ahead and roll out your wrists again real fast. We have some bird dog, but we're gonna go ahead and do it on our forearms to save our wrists. So normally I would have put the bird dog before all of this, but we are trying to save our wrists and give ourselves a break between this section of planking and the last section of planking. So, find a quadruped position. On your elbows, go ahead and tuck your tail slightly, because even I want to go like this in this bird dog plank, right? Now, tuck your tail, lift up, 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 up. You still want a straight line from the tip top of your head up through your tail, but it's more like a slope. Now squeeze and pull your elbows towards your knees without moving your arms. So, wrap your ribs, draw your belly up and in, tuck your tail ever so slightly so you're not swaying, and extend your left leg on the mat and pull it back in. Or right leg, I'm sorry, extend and pull. Now, we did one arm work earlier. Now we're doing one leg work. Now, extend it back and hold it there. Now, lift your foot up and tap to the mat. And lift up and tap. Don't lose your body. Still squeeze everything. All your leg is doing is challenging the weight against the stability of your body. Now stay up there. Now bend your knee in, so your knee to knee, and press it back out. Donkey kick. Here's 3, 4. We are going to get on our wrist for part of this. Abs up and in. Now stay there. Now go out an inch and pull it back an inch. Don't allow your knee to shift on your stabilizing leg. Here's 4, and 5, and 6. Now leave your foot up there. 6 small circles in each direction. Really find the support in your leg. Now draw your knee back in. Now come up onto your wrist real fast. Extend your leg behind you. Now we're going to do cat, one-legged, so draw your knee in towards your nose and drop your head and extend back. Honestly, this just feels nice. 2. And find neutral. 3. That was great. Let's add on. As you draw your knee in, you're going to tuck your tail, draw your nose towards your knee, draw your knee towards your opposite elbow and back. So it's going to be a little oblique work. And final one. And come down. Bring both knees down. Bring your arms down. Now, it's easier to do the oblique work if you're squeezing your inner thighs together, guys. The more you're stabilizing leg is drawn in towards the middle, and the easier it is to stabilize. So, I realized I should have told you that earlier. That was my mistake. Extend your left foot back and pull and extend. Abs up and in, wrapping your ribs, straight line from the tip top of your head out through your tail. Pull your elbows towards your knees and widen your shoulder blades and widen your collarbone and wrap your ribs. Now leave your foot back, Now float it up with your glutes and lower and tap. And here's 2. And here's 3. And here's 4. Guys, we have another section of planking after this. And then we're going to be done. And up now, 6 small circles in each direction. Try to make this come from the glutes so there's not a lot of shifting in the body. If you slow it down and make your circles smaller, the shifting will minimize and reverse. Abs up and in. Tuck the tail slightly. Now pull it back in. Now come up into a quadruped position on your hands and knees if you're able to. Rotate the inside of your eye joint at the end of the mat. Lift your foot up. Now draw your knee in. Tuck your tail and lift. One-legged cat. And extend. This is just a straight one-legged articulation, nose to knee. After this one, we're going to bring the elbow to the knee to the opposite elbow. So in and lift. And extend back to parallel. In and lift and rotate. And extend back to parallel. One more. And extend back to parallel. Now, sit back. Roll out your wrists real fast. We have side bending. We have some plank work. We have some side plank work with star, which is less about the bend in the side and more about the straight plank. So we're going to do the side bending first. Then we're going to go into the plank work, and then we have a nice wrist stretch, and we'll be done with class. So let's go ahead and start on our right hip again. Now, instead of lining our shins up at the end of the mat, I've taken my knees, I've stacked them on top of each other. I'm going to take my top foot or my right foot and slide it in front. While I'm sliding it in front, I'm going to make the bottom, I'm going to flex my foot so it's parallel with the end of my mat. I'm going to go toe to heel. So my left big toe is right next to or touching my heel. I can adjust as I need to. So I'm going to have my hand a little bit in front of my hip. I'm going to float my hand gently on top of my leg. Palm up if you'd like. Inhale, exhale. If you cannot achieve this on your feet, please do it on your knees like we did earlier. And I'm going to lift. Arm up to a T. I'm squeezing my thighs, squeezing my glutes. I'm in a side bend. And now I'm going to reach my arm over my head and lift up higher and come back to the original side bend position. I'm going to reach my arm up overhead, deepen my side bend, wrap my ribs, draw my abdominals up and in, and come back to the original position. I'm side bending this whole time, guys. This is not a side plank. And reach up, and then I'm going to bend my knees, squeezing my inner thighs together the whole time to come back down. Inner thigh squeeze, as if I'm between 2 panes of glass. So that's how I'm moving. And I'm going to increase my side bend and come back to the side bend. So at no point is this a traditional side plank, stacking everything over top of each other. I'm side bending this whole time. I've leveled up from, we did the side bend short box series. We did the kneeling side bends. We did the mermaid. We did the one-legged side plank side bends. It was more of a side plank. And now we're doing side bend on our feet. So I'm going to take my feet, stack them on top of each other. I'm on my left hip. I'm going to take my top left foot, slide it off. I'm going to flex my foot so the bottom of my foot's parallel with the end of the mat. I'm going to bring my hand slightly in front of my hip. I'm going to place my feet in tandem so that my right big toe is behind my left heel. Inhale, palm up on top of my shin, and exhale and lift. And now I'm going to reach up even higher, reach my bicep for my ear, and come back to the original side bend in a T. Rotate the inner aspect of your elbow towards the end of the mat to squeeze down on your underarm. Squeeze your under thighs, squeeze your glutes. Wrap your ribs, belly up to your spine, bend your knees, and come back down. Let's go ahead and roll out our wrists real fast. I learned how to get into this plank from someone during COVID. I wish I could remember who. That's how long ago it was. It's a couple years ago, but I really enjoyed the method to get in a plank. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to come into a child's pose. I know some people like to place their arms by their side for child's pose, but we're going to reach our arms long up over our head. So really stretch out long, but leave your glutes back in your heels. So you don't want to come here for a child's pose. You want to come into a regular child's pose and walk your fingertips long. Now tuck your toes and come into that demi-point position that we were talking about in the hundreds, where your toes are pulled back. You're up on the balls of your feet in a ballet force arch position. Heels are together, toes are apart in the traditional Pilates plank position. Reach out long. Now, inhale. On the exhale, we're going to press up, coming up off of our knees into a plank position. We're going to hold it here for a minute. So give yourself a little adjustment. Find the right position, your Pilates feet position. Your weight's going to be probably between your big toe or maybe between your big toe and your second toe. You're squeezing your inner thighs. You're squeezing your glutes. You're drawing your abdominals up and in, and you're wrapping your ribs. Now, separate your feet parallel. We're going to go to a side plank on our left hand. So rock towards your left hand. My feet are tandem again. This is the easiest way to maintain a side plank. Some people do it on their toes. I think that's great. I don't want to fall all the time on the video though, right? So lift your arm up to a T. If you're able to, take your left foot or your right foot and stack it on your left foot. If you're able to do that, fine. Lift your right foot up in parallel and squeeze it together with your inner thighs. And separate it, pull it apart, and squeeze it together. Ooh, I'm rocking. Uh-oh. I guess I'm gonna fall all the time, huh? One more. Good. Now take your right foot, bring it back in front, untwist. Come back to the plank position. We're gonna hold it again. So pull them out apart with your shoulder blades. Nice long tail, nice long line out to the tip top of your head. Now, separate your feet to parallel. Rotate towards the left side. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your inner thighs. Bring your arm up to a T. Stack your feet. Ooh, this side's a little dicier for me. Now separate your feet in parallel and lower. Squeeze under your arm. Nice long line. Let's do one more. Pull it apart. Squeeze it together. Now bring your left foot in tandem in front of your right foot. Come back down to parallel. Come back to the Pilates feet plank. And press it back to a child's pose. Great job, guys. Find a comfortable seated position. I'm going to go for butterfly today. For funsies. I'm going to start with my right hand. Whichever hand you like is great though. I'm going to take my hand, flip my palm up to the ceiling, Gently pull back on my fingers down towards the ground. Drop your shoulder. Flip the fingers up to the ceiling, palm away from you, and pull back towards your shoulder. Now leaving your hand position, point your fingers down, palm will face you now, and gently press on the top of your hand to release the top of your wrist. Now shake that arm, other hand. Palm up towards the ceiling, pull back, pull your fingertips down towards your hip. Good. Reach those fingertips up, palm away from you, and pull back again. Now, keep your arm position the same, just reach your fingertips down to the ground and pull back on the top of your hand gently. Good job, guys. Give it a nice shake out. Now, nice inhale. And a nice exhale. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for this planking class. If you have any questions or need any additional modifications, please feel free to reach out. And I hope that you have a great day. Thank you.